The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network. And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a brand new week. It's a Monday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends in the top right-hand corner of the screen right there, as always. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. And man, do we have a good one for you to start off the week. Not only are we going to recap the wild weekend in basketball, we're also going to preview, of course, tonight's action, but we also have a live guest and a player profile. We're going to be joined by Newton Falls senior on the boys' side, Cameron Huff. He will be joining us at about 1:30 for his player profile live on the show. Going to be a fun time. You don't want to miss that. So because we have a deadline of 1:30, right, we have someone coming on live. We have to get to the scores. We have to make sure we talk about everything we got to talk about on the scoreboard. Let's hop right into it. Scoreboard on ysnlive.com. Scoreboard is brought to you by our good friends over at Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. It is a great tool for the YSN fans, whether you're at one of the games or watching one of our broadcasts. Either way, you don't want to look away from the screen for too long, and the YSN scoreboard is a great and easy way to get updated scores across the YSN family. Whether it be your heated rivals or your best friends, if you want to know what's going on with other teams, you got to go to ysnlive.com. The scoreboard can be found at ysnlive.com/scores. It is once again presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's go scroll over to Friday. Because the 10th, I had to do some mental math there to figure out what day Friday was. So Friday, January 10th, we'll start with girls basketball. It looked like this. Jackson Milton got beat by Lowville at home, 68-56. Lowville's offense really shows up in this one to go into Jackson Milton and gets the win. This is one of the better offenses of outputs that we've seen from Lowville this year, and they picked a big time to do it. McDonald takes care of Campbell, 32-15, final score there. Southeast able to host LeBray for the first time in MVAC play, and LeBray able to just barely edge out that win, 45-44. It's a big one for the Vikings, keeps them undefeated in the conference, gives them a chance for the conference championship, but it all comes down to how will they play against Crestview. This has been a very inspired LeBray team dealing with a couple of injuries. They got LeBray on Tuesday, and it's time for the Vikings to prove what exactly they have in the tank. That'll be a fun one tomorrow for sure. Liberty travels to Champion, and the Flashes take care of the Leopards 57-34, final score there. Brookfield goes to Newton Falls, and the Tigers get the big win, 49-24 final score. And then Mineral Ridge travels to Western Reserve in a wild one. I was there for this. Western Reserve had really control the whole night. Mineral Ridge struggled to shoot for the first three quarters. They couldn't find a way to the basket. They couldn't find ways to score. Western Reserve just kept, having a lead, but Middle Ridge ends the fourth quarter, ends the game on a 16-2 run and wins 55-50, the final score there. So if you do the math, 16-2, that's a 14-point margin. They won by 5. So you do the math, they were down by 9 when that run started, and they found a way to claw their way back, find a way back, and get the win. 55-50, Middle Ridge stays undefeated in the MVAC, and they're sitting in the driver's seat now for the conference. That is the second loss for Western Reserve, both of them to Middle Ridge. They still have to play Springfield twice this season. Springfield's, gotta hope that someone comes up that's not named Springfield and knocks off Middle Ridge. Middle Ridge already has one win over Springfield, so they can't take that conference from them. They could tie it up, sure. But right now, if Middle Ridge just plays clean basketball the rest of conference play, they will have at least a share of the MVAC championship. They've put themselves in a really good spot with that win on Friday night, coming back from really the depth of defeat in that game where they were just everything was looking bleak, right? But they pulled it off on the road. Tough place to play, Western Reserve. They really bring the crowd, bring the energy. Did not phase the Rams late in the game. Boys basketball on Friday. Big one in the 88. This could pay a lot of dividends when you look at the standings at the end of the season. South Range with the home victory over Poland, 44-36. What it does is it means that if it comes down to these two teams, it puts a lot less pressure on South Range to go to Poland and win on the road. So now they've taken care of their home court. They win in the Thriller Dome, and that's a big one when you go forward in the 88 trying to win that conference. You go to Lisbon, they got the win over Latonia 50-40, but man, these Bears, they're starting to fight a lot more than they did last year. They're close. They're right there getting these wins. This was not a 10-point margin last year against a lot of these teams. So they're getting there. They're making their strides. Howland and Canfield play a very good one, but Canfield, runs away with it in the second half. It was a good first half. 72-49, the final score. I think Beaver Local gets the win over Indian Creek, 69-44. Final score there. Lordstown and Pymatuning Valley was postponed. They will play on February 13th. Cheney and East, they play in Steel Valley Conference action, 58-45. Cheney gets the win. Southern and East Palestine was postponed. We have not heard a makeup date for that one as of yet. Wyndham and Fairport Harding. Wyndham gets the win, 71-68. What a wild game for the Bombers there in the Bombers hangar. Lakeview and Girard doing some battle. Girard goes on the road, gets the win in Cortland, 59-47, the final score there. Maplewood gets beat by Bristol, 87-57, final score. United and Wellsville got postponed. We still have not heard a makeup date for this one. Both those games that we haven't heard a makeup date for, though, have to be made up. They're conference games, so they'll definitely be put back on the schedule when we hear it. Lakeside goes to Edgewood. Edgewood gets the win, 58-28, the final score for the Warriors. We scroll over and we see that West Branch got the win over Salem, 48-30 in that big rivalry game. Beaver travels to Quaker Valley, gets the win 63-49. East Liverpool and Harrison Central, that was also postponed. Let's go to Saturday, the 11th. We will start with boys basketball. A lot of games on Saturday because, of course, if you lived under a rock in the state of Ohio, Ohio State played on Friday night. So a lot of these games were just kind of either pushed to Saturday or they played a lot earlier on Friday. By the way, congratulations to Ohio State fans. I know you're really thrilled with that. They get the win. They'll play in the national championship on Monday the 20th. So we also expect games to kind of be shifted on that day. We might see a lot earlier start times. Maybe some games get pushed to Tuesday. we will definitely try to keep as up to date as possible on all that. But if Friday was any glimpse into the future of what these schools will do when Ohio State's playing a big one, Monday we'll probably see a lot of schedule changes as well, especially since not only are they playing in the national championship, but if you're not an Ohio State fan in the area, there's a good bet you're probably a Notre Dame fan. I think those two teams probably make up like 90% of the college fan bases in Northeast Ohio, probably. So those two teams playing each other, it's going to be mayhem for everyone in this valley for sure. Because, like I said, odds are if you're not one side, you're the other. So we'll definitely keep up to date as possible on changes for next Monday. But for now, let's go into Saturday and see the big slate of games that was going to be played. Ursuline and Farrell were supposed to play a doubleheader with the boys and girls. That game got canceled, so that is not happening. Rescheduling probably not going to happen either with Farrell over there in PA, but we will definitely keep our ears out to see if they put that one back on the schedule. Conneaut went to Jefferson on Saturday, and Jefferson gets the win 79-51, the final score there. Southern Local goes on the road to Conneaut Valley, but that game was postponed. And so was St. John Lordstown. That game got moved to February 15th. We go to JFK. They went to Camel, got the win 62-49. That is really hard to hold that Camel offense to that point total, but JFK's defense did the job. Fitch goes on the road at Mooney and gets the win in a defensive battle. Fitch has a lot of these wins this year where they're holding teams down to a very low margin. 41-33, the final score there. Hoban goes to Akron East, takes care of business with a crosstown rival. 73-38, the final score in that one. Poland goes to Hubbard, and they get the narrow victory on the boys' side. 50-47, trying to avoid those two losses in a row. Hubbard gave him a big fight, but Poland sneaks out with the win. Girard, they go on the road against Springfield, and they get the win 59-51 over the Tigers, Grand Valley, and Middle Ridge. 50-33, Grand Valley gets the win. They still are a one-loss team. They bounce back from their first loss of the season, their last time out. So they go on the road after that. It's a pretty big road trip going from Orwell to Middle Ridge. They're not fazed by it. They get the big victory, and they will try to keep momentum rolling again. Struthers in the field house welcomes in Niles. Niles gets the victory 50-45, the final score there. Canton Central Catholic. Steubenville Catholic Central goes to Heartland Christian, and Heartland gets the 3-point victory 70-67, an exciting one in the Purple Palace down there in Heartland. Columbiana, they fall to Valley Christian. This is a big win for Valley Christian. It ends Columbiana's perfect season, and it really puts a little bit of a logjam in the EOAC. Valley Christian, a big win on the road, 56-37, the final score. And Dion Miller had a huge game for the Eagles in this one. And their offense just kind of kept Columbiana quiet. That's been a really good offense all year for Columbiana, and they did not have a good day on Saturday. And when you don't have a good day against a Valley Christian team that is not going to let you breathe on defense, then you're going to have a long afternoon. They sure did. West Branch traveled to Louisville, and the Leopards get the win 62-35. Last but not least, Lisbon gets 2 wins in 2 nights as they beat the Academy of Urban Scholars 67-12, the final score there. So as we see, we're going to have Cameron Huff pop into the show, so we will pause our scoreboard recap and get back to it a little bit later, but let's get into our live guest from Newton Falls. It is senior Cameron Huff. Cameron, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So let's talk about this. Your senior year, buddy. What's it been like to kind of deal with all the kind of emotions and the stress that comes along with it being your last year as a Newton Falls Tiger?
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. It's kind of bittersweet. I was a ball boy for forever. Just one day hoping that I would be a varsity basketball player for the Newton Falls Tigers. And now that it's here, I've definitely cherished the last 2 years. Looking forward to a great senior year. Hopefully to finish the year strong, chase the league title, chase a district title, and maybe more.
When you reflect on that time of watching these guys as a ball boy and dreaming of being a varsity player, what kind of things stick out to you? The things that made you kind of fall in love with the sport at that age and make you want to be where you are now?
Yeah, just how much like our program is a family. It starts with the community supporting us, coming out to all of our games. It helps when you have Coach Simback, who's been there for 30, 35 years, whatever. You got old players coming back to games and practices and whatnot, and it's just super cool.
Yeah, let's talk about Coach Simbach because, man, like you said, he's been a absolute legend in Newton Falls for a long time. What's it like to be coached by him under the last 4 years of your career?
Yeah, it's you grow up going to coaches camp since you're in first grade or whatever, and like I said, you'd hope one day that you are a varsity player and get to play for him. And it's not what it seems. He's hard on you, but he loves every single one of us and just wants us to succeed, and that's awesome.
We get to talk to him quite a bit at YSN Coaches Corners every year, but we only get to see him on the sidelines of games. What are some things about Coach Simbach that maybe we don't know about him in practice or him off the court that you think people should know if you pull back the curtain a little bit?
Yeah, he's a straight shooter. Doesn't matter who you are. Like me, I would say I'm a program kid, been around for a while. My dad's heavily involved in the program. Doesn't matter. Treats everybody the same. No matter the background or whatnot, he just expects the best out of you and the most effort, and that's how it should be.
Talk about the standard, like the standard that he sets for this program, and how much it has just kind of kept up over the last 30 years. What is the standard? What do you think is the Newton Falls way defined by Coach Simbach?
Definitely getting better each day. That's what he preaches. We've had, I think, 23 or 22 straight winning seasons or something crazy like that. So that's one. Winning a league, I think, came second or won the league like 3 out of the last 5 years. We haven't won a district in like 8 years. We definitely want to get that. Just winning. That's what he expects, and that's what we expect is to win.
Yeah, you said it. Newton Falls just knows how to win. What are some things you think in the culture, in the locker room, in the just way that you go about things that leads to the winning that we see in Newton Falls every year?
Yeah, it starts in the summer. We go to a team camp in Marietta. That kind of brings the team together, a little bonding. This year, we actually got to go to the Hoosier Gym, which was sweet. Playing in there, staying in a hotel room with guys, that just kind of builds the team chemistry. And once you're all together, the practices, playing together, sweating together, that's what it's about.
Let's talk about your year. I mean, you're putting up the numbers. You're one of the statistical leaders of this team. What's it been like for you to find so much success your senior year? Like we said, the last year that you're going to be able to wear that uniform. What's been working so well so far?
Yeah, I mean, last game I didn't, but I've been shooting the ball pretty well, I'd say. I had a couple games where I had like 5 or 6 threes. That's not me. That's my teammates. That's the offense we run. My teammates getting me open shots, me helping my teammates get open shots. I'm not really trying to score, but when it's there, I'll take the shot and hopefully I'll make it.
What I like when I look at the stats for this team is that there's not the one player that's averaging 20 points per game and then a bunch of players that are averaging maybe 5. You have 3 or 4 guys that are averaging above 7 points per. What's it like to be a part of an offense that is so balanced and you really trust your teammates to go out there and maybe they can pick you up if you're not having your best shooting day and maybe someone else can step up and it could be anybody any given night to get you guys to win?
Right. Like our last game against Lakeview, I didn't shoot the ball worth anything at all, but Landon McGregor definitely stepped up. I think he had 20 or 19 against them. There's been games where someone else hasn't really been playing well, and me or like a Philip Davis or Carson Howard's been able to step up and kind of carry the load. And knowing that they got your back when you're not having the best nights, it's nice.
So we talked about earlier about you growing up in this program. What's it mean to you to just represent this school system that you've been a part of for so long and to be able to put on that Newton Falls jersey, wear those colors and represent the community every night?
Yeah, so like I said, being a ball boy, you kind of look up to those guys and like those varsity basketball players. They're like they're kings of the town, right? So now that I'm up here, I kind of just want to be that example for those younger guys that are watching. Like we had a game last week where our third grade team got to come out and watch, and it was just really cool seeing them because I knew I was in their shoes once.
I want to talk about being a senior leader. Every year, every year seniors are asked to have a little bit more, a little bit more responsibility, a little bit more leadership. What kind of things have you been doing to kind of grow as a leader over your career? And what do you think it's mean to you now that you're a senior, that you're able to put yourself in situations where you're able to bring up the, younger kids, bring up the third graders and show them what it means to be a Newton Falls Tiger?
Yeah, so working coaches camp the last 4 years definitely is a part of it. Showing like those younger kids what it is to play for Coach Simback and how it is to play Tiger basketball. And then just at practice, trying to keep the energy up all the time. Like we had a stretch where we lost, I think, 3 in a row. Just trying to stay positive, keep the energy up, and knowing that good times are coming. That's basically, yeah.
Good times are coming. And I know you guys are so hungry to get that district championship that has eluded you so far. But what are some things that you think have made the difference this year? What are some things that make you optimistic that this can be a year where you can actually go out and have success in the district tournament?
Right. So it starts with now there being 7 divisions, and we kind of luck out being in Division 6. There's not really like a powerhouse like a Lutheran East or like a Cornerstone Christian or anybody like that. So it's pretty much wide open. Like we played Lake Center Christian early in the year, lost a close one in overtime. I don't think we played our best game. And right now they're one of the top teams in the region, in entire Northeast Ohio for Division 6. So that definitely makes us feel pretty good about where we're at. But we can't get complacent. Got to keep getting better and keep working hard. And if we want it, we can go get it.
We're talking about you being a senior leader of this team and the things that make you optimistic, but you're not the only senior, obviously. You have a big senior class this year. You've been playing with these guys for a long time. What's it like to share this last year with your fellow seniors and almost form this brotherhood with them that will last even longer than this year and after you graduate?
Right. Yeah, we've been playing together since 3rd, 4th grade. A lot of us, even like me and Landon McGregor, have played varsity together since like sophomore year. But it's just really nice. Like this is the first year in a while that we're all back together playing varsity, and it's really special.
When you think about, the leadership of the senior class as a whole, everyone bringing their different types of leadership together to form one great unit. What kind of leader would you describe yourself as? Like, what do you bring to the table as far as leadership goes?
Yeah, so it definitely helps. My dad's been a coach at Newton Falls for a while, so I think I bring a type of smartness and IQ to the game and to the team. There's other guys though that bring like strength and energy and want to keep the enthusiasm up, which is always good. But I would definitely say like my IQ and just general knowledge of the game. Try to help out everybody as much as I can.
Which teammate best describes the emotional leader of the team, the one that always gets you guys fired up and ready to go?
I would say there's 2. I would say Ethan Powell and Dylan Champion definitely know how to get us going at practice and at games.
And then who are the guys that kind of lead by example? They're always going to be doing things the right way, the right things in the right time, and everyone can look to them to know how to do what you guys got to do. Who are the guys that lead by example?
That I would say Landon McGregor. I would say he's our best player. He's played varsity since his freshman year, so he's got a lot of experience under his belt. Just an overall solid player for us. Doesn't hurt us at all. Doesn't do anything bad. Does everything the right way, which is exactly what you're looking for.
Let's talk about senior year in the classroom. We've talked to a lot of seniors over the years, and a lot of them have got to put themselves in the position where they can take their foot a little bit off the gas pedal their senior year. They put the work in the classroom the first 3 years, done all the hard classes. Are you in that boat, or do you still have some hard classes to take care of this year?
Yeah, so most of my high school classes are actually done. I just take a couple like college classes, some online college classes. It's nice as I get to leave school a little earlier. I wouldn't say my schedule is the hardest, but I wouldn't say it's the easiest either.
So that being said, where I'm sure it's a little bit less stressful than maybe your sophomore or junior year, which statistically usually the hardest years of high school in the classroom. Right. What's it been like to be able to focus a little bit more on basketball and not have to juggle so much stress with the classroom and the schoolwork?
Yeah, it's definitely nice. Sophomore, junior year, staying at school all day, taking all these hard classes, and then immediately going to practice. It's nice to get out a little early, let your body and your mind relax a little bit before you go to practice, or even be able to get some extra work in before is definitely nice.
What's the future look like for you? What are some plans that you have after you graduate that you want to accomplish?
Yeah, so I'm attending Point Park University in downtown Pittsburgh, Division II school. I'm actually going there to play golf and to study education.
What made Point Park the landing spot when you're doing your recruiting and you're looking at these golf programs? There's a lot of good ones. What made Point Park the place where you wanted to be?
Yeah, so I have some familiarity with there. I have a cousin who's actually on the softball team in the education program. Talked to some people in the education program; they loved it. I think it's a great fit in downtown Pittsburgh. From Newton Falls, you don't really get like that city life, and when I went there, I really enjoyed it. And also, Caden Kohler from Bristol is actually going there too. We're going to room together, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's a good local connection. That makes the decision a little bit easier. You're a triple sport athlete at Newton Falls. What's that like to kind of transition between golf to basketball, then to baseball in the spring?
Uh, yeah, it's pretty cool. Being able to play three sports and stay on top of academics, like the way I'm able to, and some other kids here are able to. Definitely things in all three sports I wanted to accomplish. Like this year, made it out of sectionals in golf, advanced to the district. That's what I wanted to accomplish. I accomplished that. This year in basketball, want to win a league, want to win a district. Hopefully, accomplish that. And then for baseball, our school's never won a district, and that's something since our freshman year, us like the senior class and Coach Rankin have talked about since our freshman year, was that in these 4 years we want to accomplish winning the first district championship in school history.
Was it hard to pick golf as the sport you were going to play at the next level, or was golf always the one that you kind of had a little bit higher than the rest that you worked, to be at the next level?
Yeah, it was between golf and baseball. I had some looks at some baseball scholarships from a couple junior colleges, some Division III. I really didn't want to do the JUCO or the Division III thing. The Division III thing, especially because they can't give any athletic money. So kind of focused on golf more the last year. Was able to get good enough to where I can get some Division II schools to look at me and give me some athletic money, which is definitely going to help.
What excites you the most about just being a college athlete? Being able to call yourself, good enough at any sport, whether, obviously for you it's going to be golf, but being able to accomplish that dream where you're saying you're good enough at a sport where a college coach handpicks you to be on their team.
Yeah, it's cool. It's something you kind of dream of when you're a kid, right? To play a sport in college. I know for me it was basketball, right? You want to go play basketball. Like my favorite team is North Carolina. Obviously, that didn't work out. But no, it's definitely cool to be able to say that I'm going to college to play a sport.
When you think about, when you graduate and you're going to reflect on your career at Newton Falls and all the things you've been able to do, whether it be in the classroom or on the court or on the golf course or maybe on the baseball field, what are some things that you're going to be the most proud of yourself for accomplishing, that you're going to be really kind of just fond of memories that you've made and pride in yourself for being able to do?
Yeah, so I would say with our basketball program, like I said before, I was a ball boy. I was always at all the games. I looked up to those guys a lot, right? Those high schoolers that were on the team. Now that I'm in that position, I really take pride into showing those kids respect and showing them what it's like to be a Tiger. And I really feel like a lot of those kids do look up to me, which is something I'm really proud of.
Yeah, you get to be looked up to. Let's talk about the guys that you looked up to when you were little. I mean, you talked about being a ball boy and watching those guys. Who were the people that taught you how to be a role model when you were younger?
Yeah, so definitely Tyler and Dale Kernan were a part of some teams when I was younger. Cody Dillon, definitely a big one. He ended up going on to play at Mount Union, was a 4-year starter there, holds some records, I think. Jaden Walton, Noah Suarez, Joey Urso, guys like that definitely showed me the right way and showed me how to be a Tiger.
Who are some of your role models off the court, outside of the sport of basketball, that just everyday life show you what it means to be someone that's worthy of being looked up to?
Yeah, so I would definitely say he's one of my teachers, and the JV basketball coach, my baseball coach, the athletic director, Chad Rankin for sure is a big impact on me. Brian Bogus, my government teacher and my history teacher over high school, definitely another one who's had a major impact on me, and so many others too have definitely had a big impact on me.
In the same theme of guys and girls in your life that have kind of made an impact on your journey, we want to end this player profile the same way we do every time. We want to give the player the chance to take the limelight off themselves and kind of shine on the people in their life that have gotten them to where they are. So I want to give you the time to give out thank yous and shout outs to the people that you don't think that you'd be where you are without.
Yeah, definitely my parents for sure have always supported me no matter what I did. I really appreciate that. Like I said, Coach Rankin, Coach Simback, really all my coaches. And I would definitely say my brother for sure has been a big impact on my life and has supported me through everything.
Cameron, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and talk to us about this basketball program, your whole career at Newton Falls. Man, we wish you the best of luck the rest of the season. We hope that you guys go and get everything that you're striving for, and we will talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Go Bucks.
So the man of the hour, right? Cameron Huff joining us live on Running Point. We thank him for his time, and we always love having live guests on the show. It's not something that we get too often, so when we get the live guests, we love to treat it. So what a great interview that was from Cam Huff from Newton Falls, one of the many seniors on that team. Hopefully we get the chance to talk to a couple of more before the season is over, because that Newton Falls program, 7-4 right now, putting together something special, play really good defense. But like I said, what I love about them right now, balanced offense. You look at this stat sheet from this Newton Falls Tigers team, and like I was saying in that interview, there's not one player averaging double figures, but there's 5 players averaging more than 5 points per game, including Cameron Huff, who averages as a team lead 9.7, but then you have right below him Landon McGregor averaging 9.6. You got Chernak, another senior, averaging 6.8, 7.1, 5.1, 5.2. So there's just no one that you can key on and say, hey, if we stop this guy, we're going to be okay. There's no one you circle on that Newton Falls scouting report. You just got to circle them all and say, hey, we have to slow down everybody. It's really hard to defend. It's really hard to game plan for. Now, on the other hand, when you get in tournament time, there's going to be those close games. There's going to be games on the stretch. I think there is something to have that one guy that's kind of your takeover guy. I think Landon McGregor can definitely be that. Like he pointed out in Lakeview, he scored 20 points in that game against the Bulldogs. So he can be that guy, which is not necessarily what the stats reflect. But they do have guys that can take over. So don't mistake that either. They have guys that are going to say, we need points right now. I'm going to take over this game and be that kind of player. And they do have that, which is a knock to most teams that are putting up stats like that. Well, you don't have that one player that can take over a game. Newton Falls does. Don't mistake that. They don't have a guy that does it every night, and that's why their stats are kind of like the way they are. But they do have guys that can absolutely just take over a game. Don't worry about that. That is not something to worry about for the Newton Falls basketball team. And then, of course, no one's going to outcoach Coach Simbach, right? You're just not going to outcoach that dude. So if you think that you're going to win the game because you outfox Coach Simbach, he's seen it all. He's there. He's the legend. There are too many coaches in the area that would say that he's had an impact on their journey. He's really, I think, untalked about when you talk about coaches in the area and what they mean to basketball in the Valley. It's Coach Simbach. And I believe, could be wrong, but I think the longest tenured basketball coach in the Ysn family. I could be wrong, but I'm trying to rack my brain with all the ones that we have, because we have a lot of good ones. But I'm pretty sure Simbach is the longest tenured coach in the Ysn family. If I'm mistaken, let me know in the comment section. I never get tired of getting proven wrong, right? If it's in the name of getting things right, by all means, let me know that I'm wrong. But I believe Coach Simbach has been at Newton Falls for longer than anybody has been at their school right now, as far as the coaching circle at YSN. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get back to the scoreboard, finish recapping the weekend. We'll also preview what games are going on tonight on YSN. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back on Running Point, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
From on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you, and we got a great show. We just heard from Cameron Huff live on the show, senior from Newton Falls. Loved having him on. Thank him for his time. Hopefully we can talk to a couple of more Newton Falls seniors before the season is over, because that senior class has meant a lot to that program. Let's get back to the scoreboard for now, though, and let's get back to recapping the weekend. When we look at it, we were almost done with boys basketball when we left off. We just have to go over that Lisbon Urban Scholars game. Lisbon got the win 67-12 over the Academy of Urban Scholars. Then we'll go over and scroll down to girls basketball that went down on Saturday. And we see that, obviously, because the boys' Ursuline Farrell game was canceled, so was the girls. Heartland Christian traveled to Lake Center Christian and got the big win, 52-21. Final score there, Heartland Christian, under the radar, having a really good season this year. Don't sleep on the Lions when we talk about tournament time. They're kind of sneakily having that really impressive season. Parity got the win at home over Orange, 63-29, the final score in that one. But a big storyline for Orange in this game, Rachel Oberster had enough points in this game to become second all-time on the scoring list. At Orange, she is about 250 points away from breaking the all-time scoring record. At Orange, I know that sounds like a lot, but when you look at what she's had this year, she started the year with about she's already scored. I'm trying to do the mid. She's already scored about 700 so points in this season. So when you break it down, 250 in the last 9 games, not terribly unheard of. She's got a legitimate chance to become the all-time leading scorer in the Orange basketball program. So don't. That's something that we'll definitely keep an eye on. But Perry does get the win, 53-29, final score in that one. Jefferson, they beat Lakeside 56-24, final score in that one. United in Marlington coming to town, and they get the win 54-27 over the Eagles. South Range in Springfield was postponed. I know you're gonna head scratch. Well, the boys played at Springfield. Well, this one was an early morning start. JV was supposed to start at 11, and the roads from the night before just weren't clear enough for them to feel like they were safely going to be able to travel from South Range to Springfield. So they've just moved that game 1 week later. That game will now be Saturday. JV starts at noon now, so at 12:45, varsity start for South Range and Springfield. Just 1 week later, they'll play. So they got that back on the schedule pretty quick. JFK and St. Thomas Aquinas, that game also got postponed. Harvey and Conneaut. It is Conneaut with the 39-28 win over. Harvey with the 39-28 win over Conneaut. We have Canton South and Cheney. That game got postponed. Fitch and Boardman. Fitch traveled to Boardman, and Boardman gets to win 54-41. I was there at this game, so I can talk about it for a little bit. What a great performance Boardman got from Jocelyn Torres, our player of the game for the post game interviews. You can hear that as well as a post game interview with Andy Pavlansky on the ysnlive.com story for that game, as well as the YSN Live YouTube page as well. Jocelyn hit 4 threes in the game, also played just fantastic defense, got a couple of blocks along with some steals that caused some fast break buckets. Normally, when you look at a team and say only 4 girls scored on the stat book, you go, ooh, that's not good. But when all 4 girls score in double figures, you got something going on, right? That's when you get wins. Ava Freeborough, Jocelyn Torres, Sarah Barrow, and Michaela Rivera all in double figures for that game. Michaela Rivera actually led the way with 16 on the night. So a big win for Boardman. Fitch dealing with a couple of injuries, depth issues, but they still fought and battled this whole time. And they kept this respectable, 54-41. It could have been a lot worse when you look at the fact that this Fitch does not have a deep bench right now. Some of their best scorers are hurt, or whether they're hurt and they're out of the game or they're hurt and they're just not 100%. Both are true. So you just have a little bit of depth issue for Fitch right now. When they get healthy, they can be a problem. And we saw that with the way they started this season when they beat West Branch at home. I think we all understood, like, full health Fitch is something to not be contested with. Edgewood was going to travel to Cordy, PA. That game got postponed or canceled. We haven't heard of a makeup date yet. Cardinal Mooney was able to host West Branch. Warriors get the win 51-24. You can find a post-game interview with Coach Walt DeShields and Ellie Tucker on our YouTube page. We want to thank Don Pearson for being able to get those interviews and being able to get us those stats for those stories. So story interviews for that game from West Branch can be found at ysnlive.com. Hoban travels to Toledo Rogers, and they get the win 60-35. You go to Howland and Canfield. What a great game. Canfield gets the win 47-44, the final score, and that is a way to keep Canfield undefeated both in the conference and overall. They found a way to do it. Howland gave them a heck of a scare, but the Cardinals are still sitting on top of that perch of the undefeated teams in the YSN family. I believe, trying to rack my brain again, I believe the only undefeated team on the girls' side in the YSN family as well. Then the big one in the NE8, it is still the Wild Wild West Conference this year because Hubbard, the monkey wrench of the conference, throws another one into the engine and stirs things up a little bit as they beat Poland for the first time since 2007. The Bush administration, right? Transformers have come out with 7 franchise movies since Hubbard beat Poland. I was not even in high school yet in 2007. They did it. They did the thing at home. They have beaten the top 2 teams in the NE8 so far this season. 50-35. I think it was 52-35. But either way, the final score from Hubbard. And wow, what a game for the Eagles. Layla Songer, the freshman, comes up with 25 points for the Eagles, including 3 3-pointers. She goes off, and now the NE8 gets a little bit murky again. Let's talk about the last 10 days in the NE8 conference, okay? Actually, we'll do that after we just say Lakeview and Brookville got postponed. We had ice hockey on Saturday as well. We'll finish the scoreboard, take it off, and then I want to talk about the topsy-turvy Wild West of the NE8. Canfield lost to Chagrin Falls in ice hockey 7-3 on Saturday. So let's that was the scoreboard, ysnlive.com. We'll get back to it and talk about the games that are going on tonight. But let's just talk about the topsy-turviness of the NE8. The last 10 days of this NE8 conference has been nothing but chaos. All right, you go back to last Thursday, like not this last Thursday, but the Thursday before. Is that 10 days? Thursday, 7, 8, 9, 10. Today would be 11, but okay. You go to the last Thursday, where at that time, Lakeview and Poland were tied at the top, both undefeated. Hubbard beats Lakeview. Poland gets the top spot, the 88, all alone. Saturday comes around. Struthers knocks off Poland. All of a sudden, Struthers, Girard, Lakeview, and Poland are all kind of knotted up in the conference. Then you go on, and it becomes a conference that is led by Lakeview and Poland because Girard beats Struthers, and then Girard loses to Lakeview. So by the next Thursday, 1 week after it was just Lakeview and Poland, it's Lakeview Poland again. And then Hubbard comes around and knocks off Poland. So in the last 10 days, we have seen the NE8 go from Lakeview Poland at the top to a 4-way tie to technically a 3-way tie between Monday and Thursday, 2-way tie again, and now Lakeview finds themselves at the top of the conference with 1 loss and Poland with 2. It all worked out, right? It all worked out in Lakeview's favor. They're sitting there like, oh, okay. They kind of shake off that loss to Hubbard, and now Lakeview's the one in the driver's seat of the NE8. Who had this on their bingo card? Who had it on their bingo card? And here's the other wild thing. Lakeview and Poland haven't even played each other yet, and they won't until the 30th of January. They have this late season game. They'll play back-to-back games. That's going to be wild. They will play each other at Poland for Poland Senior Night, and then the next Saturday, it'll be Thursday and then Saturday, they will play each other again in Lakeview because that game got pushed because of snow last week. So that might have monumental weight if things keep going the way the conference is going. Poland versus Lakeview twice in 3 days. That's going to be wild. Now, in that span, Poland still has to play Hubbard. No, they already beat Hubbard at home, so they don't have to play Hubbard again. They still have to play Girard again. They still have to play South Range again eventually in the Thriller Dome. Things are not settled at all. They still have to play Struthers again this week. Thursday is going to be Poland and Struthers in the Fieldhouse. There's a lot of big games left. Lakeview and the Girard. Second matchup still there. Lakeview still have to play South Range the second time. They still have to play Struthers the second time. Niles, who, by the way, I still want to talk about what they did on Thursday as well. After we talk about these standings, but it's nuts right now. It is anybody can beat anybody in the NE8. Niles proved that. I want to talk about what they were able to do on Thursday. Unfortunately, we were not here on Friday to talk about this one, so we're going to do something that we rarely do on Monday. And we're going to go back to the scoreboard from Thursday, which I know is a little bit back in the DeLorean. We're hopping in it, but what Niles was able to do on Thursday, we have to talk about it. Thursday was the 9th. Girls basketball, and trying to look for it. Oh, there it is. I don't know why I couldn't see it. My brain was not working. Niles versus Struthers. Struthers 1 game back in the conference at the time, and Niles at home wrecks it. 54-19. By far the biggest point margin of victory that Niles has had as an NE8 team. What a huge victory for this program that has just the last 5 years of the NE8 has been put through the ringer of a program. You know, there's no easy way to sugarcoat this, but like Niles 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when the NE8 started, that this program was just like the open door to the NE8. Like everyone was just kind of, 40-point win, 50-point win, 60-13. It was not good times for this program. Last year, they got a little bit competitive, right? They got a couple of wins. They were able to narrow that gap a little bit. This year, they are a team that can and will beat anybody on any given night. Poland only beat them by 10 in Niles. Niles is a tough place to play all of a sudden. Struthers goes into Niles 54-19. These Dragons are not the doormat of the 88 anymore. This is not your brother's Niles girls basketball team. Or sisters, I should say, right? This is not your sister's girls basketball team. Can't say mothers because that's a little bit too far back that we're talking about, but maybe your sister went to high school, 5 years ago. This is not her girls basketball team. And I want to give props to the seniors of last year. We talked to a couple of them. We got profiles with a couple of them. They set the tone, and they kind of said, this is what our program is going to be. This is how we're going to do it. Props to the coaching staff at Niles, because you've gone from in a very short amount of time, you've gone from, that quote unquote easy game in the 88 to never a dull moment and monkey wrench. And Hubbard is in the same boat because Hubbard struggled in the 88 for a long time. And now all of a sudden they're beating the top teams in the 88. They have thrown 2 big monkey wrenches into the conference standings in the last 2 weeks. Beat Lakeview at home, beat Poland at home. Wild things are going on in the 88. It's going to be a fun rest of the conference schedule. Girard, you now have a legitimate chance. South Range, you now have a legitimate chance. Lakeview, obviously. Poland, legitimate chance. You know what? I'll throw the way this conference is going. You could win it with 4 losses. Hubbard, you're still in there. Niles, you're still in there too. Why not? The way it's going, anybody can be anybody. You might win this conference with 3 conference losses. It has turned into SEC football where you're just beating each other up, and whoever comes out of it, you earned it. This is not the 88 where 2 teams dominate and it comes down to 2 teams anymore. This is everybody out for themselves. Wild West shootout at the OK Corral, right? Here we go. It's fun, man. It's fun. We've been waiting for the 88 to get this competitive for a long time in girls basketball. It is here, and I can't wait to see how it shakes out. I really can't wait for those 2 matchups in 3 days between Poland and Lakeview. That is wild that could come down. Those could be your conference championships, and they're going to play 2 games in 2 days. That's nuts. Man, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Poland outside of the conference tonight, though, which is a good segue to go back into the scoreboard and talk about the games that will be happening tonight. And we'll go through the whole schedule and then talk about the broadcast, what games will be on the network, what broadcasters will be out there covering you guys. So here's the whole schedule for basketball tonight. We'll start with the boys, who do have a slate of 6 MVAC games. No, I should say 5 MVAC games. 1 Lordstown versus Bloomfield game. You have Crestview at LeBray, Garfield at Brookfield. I should say 4 MVAC games. I spoke way before I looked. That's on me. East Liverpool and Harrison Central. That's going to be made up from Friday night. They're playing tonight. Newton Falls travels to Champion. And Southeast goes to Liberty in boys basketball. In girls basketball, we have Grand Valley at Wyndham, McDonald going to Lowville, Columbiana will be traveling to East Palestine, Wellsville goes to Valley Christian. You have Wycliffe at Orange, Girard goes to Hubbard. We just saw what Hubbard can do at home, so that one's to keep an eye on. Lakeview goes to Struthers, Niles goes to South Range, Lakeside goes to Willoughby South. Sebring will go to Camel tonight. East Liverpool will be on the road against Steubenville. Madison goes to Edgewood. West Branch at Boardman. You have Canfield. They're traveling to Massillon, Washington. That'll be a huge test. If Canfield can come out tonight still undefeated, they're gonna be, if your eyes weren't open before as them as contenders for regional tournament, then if they beat Massillon, Washington on the road, that'll definitely open your eyes. Salem travels to Poland tonight. You have Southern. They'll be hosting Latonia. You have Lisbon at United. Middle Ridge going to Jackson Milton. Springfield hosting Western Reserve. Chalker will be traveling to Pymatuning Valley. East will be at Cardinal Mooney. St. John will be at Fairport Harding. Mohawk. They'll be hosting the Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. And then Beaver on the road against Hampton tonight. So that's your scoreboard. Let's get into the games that'll be on the network and how you can watch the games on ysnlive.com/live. So it looks like we'll have some boys basketball on the network tonight. Garfield at Brookfield. Dakota Kotzel will be on the call there. Gary Burton will be on the call as East Liverpool hosts Harrison Central. Girls basketball, I will be in Poland for their matchup with Salem. We are going to have Ty Bartell at Jackson Milton for their matchup with Middle Ridge. DJ Oakley will be at South Range for their matchup with Niles, and Dom Pearson will be at Boardman as West Branch comes to town. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games on the network tonight. You don't want to miss it. There's a possible 7th. We're trying to get a hold of the students at Hubbard, seeing if they're going to do the game tonight against Girard. So don't be surprised if Hubbard and Girard also pops up on the live games tab tonight as well. But it's going to be a fun night of basketball. We'll be back here tomorrow to recap it all. Make sure to tune in at ysnlive.com/live if you can't make it out to the games. But if you can make it, please do. Please support these athletes. You can even bring up a game while you're watching, right? Pull it right up on your phone, YSN app, or ysnlive.com/live. Pull it up on your phone. Pull it up on your iPad. Take your laptop. I don't care. Take your giant HD TV and just put it on the wall in the gym and put on another team. Probably not. Probably don't want, the school officials probably don't want you to do that. But I think every other option is viable, right? ysnlive.com/live is where you can find all the action tonight. Make sure to tune in. It's been a fun time. We'll be back here tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Running Point. That'll do it for today's episode, and we will be back here again tomorrow. Running Point always brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Thank you so much. We will see you all next time.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.